We are so excited to have the opportunity to host the Super Regional here with Alabama. It's going to be a fantastic weekend. I am so proud of these seniors for what they've done so far throughout their 4 years here in their careers, and just couldn't be a greater opportunity for them to showcase who we are, what we're all about against a great opponent this weekend.
Perfect. So if there's any questions for the players, we'll start with Claire.
Where'd the fire me up come from? We started that last year kind of randomly. I don't know, maybe you guys remember, but we just started like firing each other up in the locker room and the warm-ups and then brought it onto the field. So just something to get the crowd engaged and ourselves engaged even more. So it's been fun using that.
I guess you guys, all three of you seniors, like, especially going out into your last weekend here. After last weekend when you're playing in front of like a packed house like that, how much do you feel that way?
Yeah, I mean, the energy that the crowd brings is definitely like unbelievable, and it kind of transfers out into the field as well. Like, you know, it's like cool seeing the crowd like clapping and stuff for us, like whenever like we're doing something well, because like we have that like Husky fever in our dugout, and just seeing that like amplified like to our fans, I think it's incredible.
You already had senior weekend earlier, but now that you know that this is more officially the last weekend you're going to be here, are you going to go through the same kinds of, I mean, obviously there won't be the same ceremony in the field, but are you going to feel it, does it feel like another senior weekend for any of it?
I mean, I just feel like we want to win. At this point, it's our last weekend here, and I don't think it's hit me yet, but I think ultimately our goal is to get to OKC, so we're just lucky enough to be able to do that on this field.
Yeah, and to add on to that, we're not really thinking about, you know, it being like our last games. We don't want it to be our last games, and yeah, this is our last weekend like here, and that's very obvious, but that's not really like on our mind. It's kind of like we just want to take it like one pitch at a time, one game at a time, and ultimately our goal is to get to the World Series, because that's what's on our mind and what's more important to us than kind of being sad about it being our last game. I mean, it is sad, but that's for the end of the year, hopefully with a national championship and a ring on.
Julie, all three of you guys, you have a few special pitchers, but you guys are seniors. To see what your freshman pitcher is doing, can you just talk about what she's been doing and when she gets in the circle?
Yeah, she's so poised in the circle, and I think it's so obvious to everyone. Like, everyone feels so comfortable having her on the mound, and that's huge for a freshman to come out here and have that confidence and just kind of just be that player for us, someone that we can like trust, and we know that we have her back, and she knows that as well. And I think it's cool to see that out of such a young player. And also, too, she's obviously from Australia. She's never faced any of these girls. I mean, maybe in like the junior nationals or whatever, but she doesn't really know them, and that's kind of like to our advantage and to her advantage, because she just goes right after them. I mean, she's going up against like some of the best hitters in the country, and I'm like, whoa, watch out. Like, if I was pitching, I would like, you know, like pitch around them or like, you know, like try extra hard, but she just goes right after them, and she gets them time and time again, and so that's really cool to see too.
You and Sis had pretty good 2 games against Alabama. Like, what do you take from that in early March? Does it make any difference now facing their pitchers again?
I mean, this is the time that where it counts. And when Alabama came in, they might not have been playing at their best, and now they're playing better. So, but for us, it's just another game, and we're gonna keep doing what we do. We're gonna trust the process. I mean, for all of us, it's our 5th time playing Alabama, our 5th time playing Alabama, our 5th time playing Alexis Osorio. So, I mean, we're prepared as much as we can be, and so, and hopefully we can just continue to do what we've been doing.
For the other student athletes, does that familiarity help you against a team like this? Less scouting, and we're just naturally, we know what they're going to do?
I mean, yeah, like Jules said, we've played them so many times, but ultimately it comes down to trusting our preparation that we've had in the past 4 years, whether that's off Alexis Osorio or any other pitcher. So I think going in, we're excited more than anything and just ready to get after it.
Taylor, I was at a kids game last night, 8 girls and 2 girls dancing, and they said, hey, we're like the Huskies. How important is it to keep that fun going that you guys did? It's getting more intense now as you go, right to the World Series. How key is that to keep that fun meter going.
Yeah, that's something that we're about here, keeping the pleasure greater than the pressure. And I think that just because these games are bigger and they're postseason doesn't mean it takes the fun out of it. If anything, it's more fun. There's more on the line, whatever. We're still going to play the way that we've played beginning of February.
What's been the difference for you guys, the last 6 games as opposed to the tough stretch that you had in April?
We went through that little rut there, but we grew and we learned as a team and as a unit. And I think playing in one of the best conferences in the country, you just have to trust that you're good enough. You're confident, and moving on, we've been tested and tried, and we're ready.
Julia, what makes Coach Tarr so special when you look back at her resume? I think some people don't realize how good she is and what she's done.
She cares about us as people, and she wants us to be like an all-around good person, not only like on the softball field, but in our academics and in who we are as people too. And so for that, I mean, I have friends like that go to like a bunch of different schools, and they don't necessarily have, like they don't have a coach, a leader who pushes all those things on them. And so I know I'm very fortunate to be here and to, follow her leadership and to, there's things that you don't even realize until you actually get here. And she just pushes you to be the best person possible, not just the best softball player possible. And I think we all can attest and confirm that too.
Perfect. All right. So you three are all good. If there's any questions for Heather now, we'll go there.
Tell us about Alabama.
What do you want to know?
Obviously, they're here for a reason. They're a good team.
Yeah. You look at matchups and rankings and who you might get matched up with. And, I think there's some people out there in the softball world that might say like, oh, again, why is Alabama and Washington getting matched up? And I mean, there's a lot of those common matchups that are happening at this place, but just like other successful sports, you see common matchups a lot, whether it's baseball, basketball, all that stuff. So it's just going to be two great teams competing against each other at the right time of the year. And it's they're like us. They were, I think, born at the same time, around the same time as Washington. Maybe we have a few years on them, but they're exciting. They trying to have a complete team just like we are, trying to peak at the right time just like we are. So it's going to be a great matchup.
You guys have outscored your opponents 28-7 your last 6 games. Do you credit that more to your pitching or to your offense?
We watched a couple of the regional games last night, and this team has more in them. I think, whether it's an offensive thing or a defensive thing, I mean, the objective of playing championship softball is to pitch, play great defense, and get some timely hits. But along the way, we're not just trying to score 2 runs. And again, that just goes back to, swinging the bat and getting some things to happen that are contagious. And I think we're still at a place where we can do more.
Bailey Hemphill, 13 home runs, 48 RBIs, danger lurking. Sometimes she's in the box. How do you approach a player like that?
Yeah, great hitter. I think just along the way, you don't want to consume yourself so much with the one player that you lose focus on the other 8. So you got to pick and choose your times to pitch to those players and maybe pitch around them a little bit. But we've got some people like that too on our team that the other team's going to have to deal with as well. And, you hope that it's not just going to come down to one player for your team, that, everybody can pick each other up 1 through 9 and the pinch hitters off the bench.
Standing room only crowd. Baseball's got a huge buzz going too. What's it like on the campus, the vibe this week with all of this going on, championship caliber games?
I honestly, walking up here today, I saw the Como News truck, whoever was driving that, it looked cool. I don't even know. Good job. I was just thinking it's pretty cool to live in a city that's so big as in Seattle and still have people be into softball as much as they are. And what a great opportunity that we have to play for the University of Washington and have, a big media market that cares about our sports. And we're proud of that. And we want to show well for that, but, we're not going to play different because of the stakes. We hope to be at our best when our best is needed.
You mentioned a little bit earlier, but not only these 3, but the other upper class, what do they meant to your program?
the continuity of this class is what you dream of as a coach, to be able to have a group this strong in the recruiting process, get to know them for a few years throughout the recruiting process, and then let them, come in and learn lessons for a few years, and then be the leaders that you want them to be on their way out. And, I hope this is the best thing that happens in their life. I hope that it's, a conduit to being confident women and empowered women as they go on. But, this is just a small part of what they get to do. And, I hope we get to continue to play as long as we can play with this group, because they're awesome.
Coach, I noticed there were a couple times during the regional, I was just looking out and when you see you in the third base box, shouting into your dugout, trying to get them pumped. To what extent do you view yourself as a vocal leader, and to what extent do you try to let them sort of build that up themselves?
I think I've never been the coach that's needed to start the fire. I think I do understand momentum and human motivation, and it definitely shouldn't come from the coach, in my opinion. I think all great teams are player led. Of course, that comes from some form of inspiration. Wherever that can come from, we try to scrounge that up. But I think you have to know your team, you have to know your players and what they need, and we just try to give them what they need and let them run the show.
What have you learned about Alabama and previous times you played them that kind of informs the way you're going to approach these teams?
I think just more so, it's honestly about us. It's not about who we're playing, it's about how we play. And that might not be the answer that you can write up a really good nugget, but you play common opponents. We play UCLA 3 times in conference. We play Oregon 3 times in conference. We play everybody in our conference 3 times in our conference, whereas some conferences don't play everybody every year. So we definitely have been tested against the best, and ultimately that's really what is going to help us get to the next stage. It's not necessarily, against who. It's about how we've hardened ourselves and been the team and become the team that we're going to become.
You've often given a lot of praise to your assistant coaches. You have a couple good assistant coaches. How tough is it though for somebody like Coach Lasso, who's got a daughter heading off to Spokane to play in the state tournament? He's got to be your focus. There's a lot of credit to somebody like that. He's got to be dialed in on this field, while his own daughter's playing elsewhere as well.
Yeah, I think our entire coaching staff is about this team and this program, and sometimes your family doesn't get your full attention, but I think what has made Coach Glasso who he is his dedication to our program. He drives 100 miles a day, back and forth to get to and from. And I know Maddie Glasso is just an awesome kid. And, from the time we've known her when she was 6 or 7 years old, she's been a part of Husky softball. And so I think she'll go into this weekend with all of that to be able to play and do what she wants in softball. And I think, she knows her dad has her back, and he has obviously other things to do and a job to do. So he's an awesome guy, and we're so glad that he's in our program.
Perfect, all right.
And he's going to throw BP right now to these 3. Again.
Awesome. Thanks, everybody. If you need anything else, just let me know on it.
Okay, thanks, you guys.
Thank you.